getaway cars, right? So I was certainly an accessory to the demotion of Pluto, and I've been sort of, people blame me, but I just want to make it clear to you that Pluto is still not a planet, okay? Now, does this upset anybody still here?
Yes.
A lot of you. Just show of hands, who here has issues with this fact? Whoa! A lot of you. Okay, so here's how you need to think about the problem. You didn't lose a planet. You actually gained a new swath of real estate in the outer solar system called the Kuiper Belt of icy bodies, and Pluto is one of its leading members. So I think Pluto is happier that way. Whether or not you are. So when I was implicated, and this was all over the news, you should know that an American discovered Pluto. Clyde Tombaugh. We got someone say, yeah. America. An American discovered Pluto in 1930. No American could have named it Pluto. Not possible. It was named by an 11-year-old girl in Cambridge, England, who was very well connected, it turns out. Her father was head of the Cambridge Library, who knew the Astronomer Royal of England, who knew the head of the Lowell Observatory, who knew that Pluto had just been discovered. And she had just learned her Roman mythology. And she heard that there was a very distant planet that was dark, and so she knew that maybe Pluto, the god of the underworld, was dark and cold, and so there it was. In America, even if you had learned about Pluto, the underworld god, that's not the first way you would have learned of it. In the 1920s, leading up to 1930, there was a product, a commercial product widely advertised. It was a laxative called Pluto Water for relief of constipation. When nature won't, Pluto will. So Pluto was not a word that we would associate with cosmic phenomena. Associated with other phenomena here. So I got implicated in this, and I was like public enemy #1 in every elementary school of the land. And in came the hate mail. I'm talking about angry mail scrawled in crayon. I have a whole cabinet drawer full of them. And here's just one. I mean, I have a whole drawer full of them. Here's one. We'll read it together. Dear scientist, what do you call Pluto if it's not a planet anymore? If you make it a planet again, then all the science books will be right. I'm thinking, why does this little girl care about the profit motives of publishers? Where does that come from? What? Do people live on Pluto? If there are people who live there, then they won't exist. I've figured that one out. Why can't Pluto be a planet? If it's small, doesn't mean it doesn't have to be a planet anymore. Some people like Pluto. If it doesn't exist, then they don't have a favorite planet. Please write back, but not in cursive. I can't read in cursive. Now, I tell you, after all this hate mail, I only got one apology. I did get one. I should have showed you the letter. I got it back in my. I got one apology after all this hate mail. So one 22-year-old young man writes to me and said, "Dear Dr." This letter was as straight written as, "Dear Dr. Tyson, was 8, I sent you a letter. I was angry that you had demoted Pluto. And I called you a poo-poo head. I would later study the problem and learn why you made this decision, and I've come to agree with it. So I apologize for calling you names. Sincerely, that was the letter. The letter was straight up.